Hello everyone, welcome to StudiLive. Today we are going to discuss a very important chapter of biology, which is called as human health and disease. So, my dear friends, let's begin. Now, when we discuss this chapter is in broad sense divided into two parts. इसका सबसे पहला part जो है, that is when we have to talk about health, and second part is what is called as disease. Yes. So when we talk about health, okay, now if we want to discuss when a person is called as healthy, yes, so there are multiple definitions. A person who is physically fit, उसको आप healthy बोलते हो. एक person ऐसा है जिसके पास infection, which that person is free from infection, is also called as healthy. But definition of health in broader perspective includes three major aspects. सबसे पहला aspect जो है, that the person should be physically fit. Secondly, that person should be mentally fit. Okay, and the person should be also socially fit. Okay, so when we include three aspects, physical, mental and social, and if any individual is fit in all the three aspects, we call that person to be healthy. ओके तो मतलब वो पर्सन फिजिकली भी फिट होना चाहिए, वो मेंटली भी फिट होना चाहिए एंड सोशली भी फिट होना चाहिए. दिस डेफिनेशन वाज लेड डाउन बाय WHO, विच इज़ वर्ल्ड हेल्थ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. सो इट इज़ नॉट मेयरली हेल्थ का डेफिनेशन. अंडरस्टैंडिंग हेल्थ इज नॉट जस्ट एब्सेंस ऑफ अ डिजीज. इट इज़ नॉट लाइक दैट. व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट हेल्थ, all the three holistic approach should be there in place, which includes physical aspects, which includes mental aspect, and also it includes social aspect. When we talk about health, one thing which goes without saying is what is hygiene. Yes, my dear students, so when we talk about hygiene is set of rules, okay, which ensure that we are fit all the time. Okay, these are the rules or the protocols which are given, जो हमको ये बताएगा कि भाई एक person healthy कैसे रह सकता है, how a person can stay healthy. Yes, so now there are multiple examples of hygiene. Yes, if I have to talk, say for example, a balanced diet. Yes, a balanced diet, any person who has a balanced diet is also healthy. At the same time, if there is clean drinking water, even that is healthy. Yeah, if at all physical exercise, sanitation, all of these aspects are included under the word hygiene. If a person is hygienic, the chances of that person contracting a disease or that person being non-healthy is very, very less. Now, students, we have to understand that our body, okay, on daily basis, our body is exposed to multiple antigens. Now, you may ask, what is an antigen? Let's understand that. Okay. Now, any foreign particle, okay, it can be a foreign object, my dear students, or it can be particle. Okay, it can be substance, you can call it anything. Okay, but any foreign object or particle or substance which can get inside our body, please note, okay, which can get inside our body, and this particle have an ability to trigger the immune response. If that particular particle has an ability to trigger an immune response, we call such particles nothing but as antigen. Antigen can be living, antigen can be non-living, guys. Okay, a living antigen primarily includes, say, bacteria. It can include virus, it can include fungus. Non-living antigens, like any person who has any kind of pollen allergy or dust allergy or smoke allergy, or a person cannot or a person has a certain kind of food allergy, he cannot consume certain type of food or kind of food. These are all non-living antigens. Any substance which has a capability to trigger our immune response is nothing but called as antigen. Yes. Now you may ask the question, who is looking after all of these? And you will have a new word which is on your screen, which is immune response. Now, what do you mean by this? Simply, we have to understand the very first word, which is called as immunity. Yes, when we talk about the word immunity, yes, immunity is what, when your body, आपका body जो है वो protected है foreign infection से. Yes, when our body is protected, yes, when the body is protected from outside harmful substances. And how is it protected? How is it protected? Because we have what is called as immune system. Yes, immune system is a type of a system which is present in our body, which ensures that no such infection can enter in our body. If at all it enters in our body, our immune system will make sure that that infection does not scale up, or that infection does not cause us any kind of problems. Yet sometimes we also contract the disease when our immune system is not properly functioning. At that point of time, we have to understand what are diseases, which is the next part of the chapter. So let's first understand what is normal. Once we understand what is normal, we'll be able to have a picture about how our body abnormally reacts, or how our body abnormally is reacting to this particular foreign particle which has entered the body. So first important thing what we have to understand is this, that how would you define this word, which is immunology. Yes, now immunology is the branch of science, my dear students, please pay attention. It is the branch of science which is actually dealing with multiple aspects. Now, what are these multiple aspects? The multiple aspects simply is, when we study about immune system, yes, when we study about immune system, then we also study the immune response. यस, इम्यून रिस्पॉन्स को जब आप पढ़ते हैं, एंड साथ ही साथ हमारा बॉडी का अबिलिटी, दैट इज आवर बॉडीज रेजिस्टेंस, रेजिस्टेंस ऑफ बॉडी टू फाइट infections. Are you getting, my dear students? So these are the three aspects which in general immunology deals with. So immunology is a big branch, okay, in which you actually study how our body reacts to this foreign particle. Yes, now we have already named this foreign particle as antigen. Yes, I hope that you have understood what is antigen. For those who have not able to understand, I will once again repeat, antigen is any kind of a substance which can trigger our immune response. Simple as that. जो हमारे बॉडी के इम्यून रिस्पॉन्स को ट्रिगर कर सकता है उसको आप एंटीजन बोलते हो. इज फूड अ एंटीजन? द आंसर इज नो. नो. Food is beneficial, it is useful for making energy, our body requires energy, so therefore no, food is not an antigen. Yes, so therefore now if at all our body encounters such kind of antigens, yes, so what our body is going to do? Our body is going to activate the immune system, but immune system also has one type of chemicals. Yes, so जब आप immune system के बारे में बात करते हैं, ठीक है, जब इम्यून सिस्टम के बारे में हम डिस्कस करते हैं, तो इम्यून सिस्टम चालू तो होता है, इम्यून सिस्टम एक्टिवेट तो हो गया है, बट इम्यून सिस्टम एक्टिवेट होने के बाद उसके पास एक टाइप का मॉलिक्यूल होता है, एक टाइप का केमिकल होता है जिसको आप बोलते हो एंटीबॉडी. एंटीबॉडी क्या होता है? एंटीबॉडी तब प्रोड्यूस होता है हमारे बॉडी में, एंटीबॉडी तब प्रोड्यूस होता है एंटीजन हमारे बॉडी में आता है. So whenever there is presence of antigen in our body's immune system is going to react by producing antibodies. Now you may ask, what is an antibody? Let's understand this. Antibodies are, in simple sense, they are protective chemical molecules. They are protective chemical molecules. So in order to fight the infection, in order to deal with the infection, our body is going to produce antibodies. Yes, and that infection is what we have defined as antigen. So मतलब हमारे बॉडी में जब एंटीजन जाता है तब जाके हमारा बॉडी उसको रिस्पॉन्ड देने को एंटीबॉडीज बनाता है. यस, अभी इसको अगर वन शॉट समरी में अगर मुझे बताना होगा तो सिंपली अंडरस्टैंड दैट दिस एंटीजन इज रिप्रेजेंटेड बाय एजी. जब ये हमारे बॉडी में जाता है, ओके, सो हमारा बॉडी इसके बदले में क्या बनाने वाला है, इसके रिस्पॉन्स में क्या बनाने वाला है, एंटीबॉडी, विच इज abbreviated as AB. सो नाउ दिस एंटीजन एंड दिस एंटीबॉडी, ओके, this antigen and this antibody will react or interact with each other, and therefore there will be neutralization. So ऐसे हम लोग रोज बाहर निकलते हैं, बट इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि हमको रोज इन्फेक्शंस होते हैं, ऐसा तो नहीं है. सो मतलब हमारा बॉडी डेली बेसिस पे वो इन्फेक्शंस को फाइट करता है. और हमारे बॉडी में ऐसा कौन सा सिस्टम है जो इसको फाइट कर रहा है, तो आंसर इज इम्यून system. Yes, now let's understand this word, which is very very important, my dear students, which is types of immunity. Yes, now immunity is generally of two types. One is called as innate immunity. Yes, and second type का जो immunity है उसको आप बोलते हो acquired immunity. देखो, प्योर इंग्लिश है, प्योर इंग्लिश है. फर्स्ट इंस्टेंस पे जब आप ये वर्ड पढ़ते हो इनेट, सबसे पहले इनेट ही समझ ले. ठीक है, सबसे पहले आप जब इनेट वर्ड पढ़ते हो तो दिमाग में क्या आता है, इनेट 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 इनेट. व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय दैट? इनेट इज प्रेजेंट फ्रॉम द बर्थ. नेट, ठीक है, मतलब ऐसा जो बचपन से, ऐसा इम्यूनिटी जो बचपन से प्रेजेंट है उसको आप इनेट इम्यूनिटी बोलते हो. ठीक है, इनेट इम्यूनिटी जो है इट इज कंप्लीटली डिपेंडेंट ऑन द जेनेटिक मेकअप ऑफ दैट इंडिविजुअल. ओके, वो बेबी का या वो इंडिविजुअल का जेनेटिक मेकअप जो होगा उसके हिसाब से डिटरमाइन होगा उस पर्सन को इनेट इम्यूनिटी कितना स्ट्रांग या कितना पोटेंट है. ठीक है, नाउ वन थिंग टू नोट दैट दिस इम्यूनिटी इज नॉट अफेक्टेड बाय एनी प्रायर कॉन्टैक्ट. सो मतलब यू डू नॉट रिक्वायर एनी प्रायर कॉन्टैक्ट. ये इम्यूनिटी नेचुरली प्रेजेंट है, ये इम्यूनिटी आपकी बॉडी में रहेगा ही रहेगा. नो मैटर एंटीजन आपके बॉडी में आए चाहे ना आए, ये इम्यूनिटी हमेशा आपके बॉडी में रहेगा. एंड इसकी वजह से एक इंपॉर्टेंट वर्ड आ जाता है यहाँ पे विच इज कॉल्ड एज द नॉन स्पेसिफिक इम्यूनिटी. नॉन स्पेसिफिक मतलब इट इज नॉट वेरी स्पेसिफिक, इसके लिए डायरेक्टेड नहीं, इट इज जनरलाइज्ड काइंड ऑफ इम्यूनिटी. एंड ऑल्सो now these innate immunity को जब आप डिस्कस करते हो तो there are certain types of barriers जो हमको डिस्कस करने पड़ेंगे. देखो बैरियर मतलब क्या, जो कुछ चीज़ में रुकावट पैदा कर ले. यस, इट कैन क्रिएट ऑब्स्टैकल. तो सिमिलरली इम्यूनिटी इज क्रिएटिंग एन ऑब्स्टैकल. इट इज क्रिएटिंग एन हर्डल विच इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर एनी एंटीजन टू पास. बाहर का मान लो बैक्टीरिया भी आ जाता है तो उसके लिए काफ़ी मुश्किल हो जाएगा कि वो हर्डल पास कर सके. आई एम नेवर सेइंग इट कैन नॉट, इट मे डू दैट, बट आवर बॉडी मेक्स श्योर दैट दिस hurdle is so big enough that it becomes very difficult for the antigen to attack the body. Yes, तो सबसे पहला जब हम लोग को ये समझना है तो सबसे पहला एक टाइप का बैरियर है which is called as our epithelial surface. epithelial surface. Yes, epithelial surface मतलब एक्चुअली इसके अंदर दो चीज़ें आती हैं. ठीक है, द इंटैक्ट स्किन. यस, स्किन आ सकता है. इट कैन ऑल्सो हैव म्यूकस मेम्ब्रेन. यस, म्यूकस मेम्ब्रेन भी हो सकता है. एट द सेम टाइम स्किन के पास ऐसा क्या है, तो स्किन के पास यू हैव सेबेशियस ग्लैंड्स. यू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट आर सेबेशियस ग्लैंड्स? Sebaceous glands maintain the salt concentration. Salt होता है, high salt concentration है, so there will be no growth of microorganisms. Microorganisms का growth नहीं है, इसके वजह से sebaceous glands have two important functions, that they are bactericidal and they are fungicidal. बैक्टीरियोसिडल मतलब क्या, जो बैक्टीरिया को मार सके. फंगिसिडल मतलब क्या, जो फंगस को मार सके, सो देयरफॉर यू हैव दैट इन ऑल्सो रेस्पिरेटरी ट्रैक. यस, रेस्पिरेटरी ट्रैक में you have small defense mechanisms. Yes, there is mucus which is present, which makes sure that there is no entry of pathogen, and if at all it is entering, our respiratory system has a very potent mechanism of coughing. So मान लो कभी आपने ये भी देखा होगा कि अगर गलती से आपने some other particle other than air enters into the body or enters into the respiratory tract, the very first action is coughing. Yes, सबसे पहले एक्शन कॉफिंग होता है. सो मतलब कॉफिंग कर सकते हो, यस, खांस सकते हो. सो कॉफिंग इज द वेरी फर्स्ट एक्शन विच इज डन बाय आवर रेस्पिरेटरी ट्रैक. ऑल्सो दिस respiratory tract has small structures. Okay, so there is small lining or structure which is made up of mucus, which will make sure that there is no pathogen or no antigen coming inside the respiratory tract. Yes, so these are some of the defense mechanisms. Also और भी defense mechanisms है. सबसे पहले saliva does not allow the growth. Okay, saliva has certain kinds of enzymes. So saliva जो होता है that is inhibitory. इसका जो action है वो inhibitory है to microorganisms. The action of saliva, because it contains certain kinds of enzymes, is inhibitory to microorganisms. So saliva is one such example. Okay, one more example is also your acidity in the stomach. Now this can be also logically addressed. Acidity which is present in the stomach, the acidic nature because of HCl which is there, which makes sure कि भाई अगर कोई microorganism आता है तो that organism will die, it will not sustain. Yes, the urine का flushing, when urine is passed, the flushing action of the urine, even that is making sure that yes, we do not have any kind of microorganism in the urinogenital tract. There are two important compounds which are found in the semen, which is called as spermine and also zinc. Okay, the spermine and zinc, they are present in semen, which are also antibacterial. वो कैसे है? They are antibacterial. Yes, my dear students. So I hope कि ये फर्स्ट सबसे पहला वाला जो चीज़ है वो आपको समझ में आया होगा कि एपिथेलियल सरफेस एग्जैक्टली काम करता कैसे है. अभी अपने को जाना है सेकेंड इम्पॉर्टेंट बैरियर पे, विच इज़ व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस राइट नाउ, इज antimicrobial substances. Yes, antimicrobial substances which are found in tissues and they are found in blood. Okay, now let's understand this. Okay, now there are certain types of proteins which are called as the complement proteins. Okay, ये कॉम्प्लीमेंट प्रोटीन्स करते क्या है पता है? कॉम्प्लीमेंट प्रोटीन्स या कॉम्प्लीमेंट सिस्टम करता क्या पता है कि जब भी हमारे बॉडी के अंदर ऐसा कोई एंटीजन चला जाता है जो इन्फेक्शन कॉज कर सकता है, तो उसको ये इनएक्टिव कर देता है. कैसे? दिस एक्टिवेशन ऑफ द कॉम्प्लीमेंट पाथवे. ठीक है, सो देयर इज एक्टिवेशन ऑफ कॉम्प्लीमेंट कैस्केड बोल सकते हो, या फिर कॉम्प्लीमेंट पाथवे, जो आपको सूट करे, जो आपको याद रख सकते हो वो याद रख लो. तो इट विल एक्टिवेट द कॉम्प्लीमेंट कैस्केड. ना क्या कॉम्प्लीमेंट कैस्केड का बेसिक फंक्शन क्या है? इट इज गोइंग टू एलिमिनेट पैथोजेंस को. क्या कर देगा? एलिमिनेट कर देगा. ठीक है भाई, जस्ट किलिंग देम. Now certain other mechanisms are also there which are also called as interferons. Yes, now what do you mean by interferons? Interferons are the types of chemical signaling molecules which are also called as cytokines. ठीक है, एक टाइप का केमिकल सिग्नल, एक टाइप का मॉलिक्यूल है जो सिग्नल का काम करता है, सिग्नल देने का काम करता है. ठीक है, ये कब रिलीज होता है? इट इज रिलीज्ड फ्रॉम वायरल इन्फेक्टेड सेल. मतलब ऐसा सेल जो वायरस से अफेक्टेड है, उससे ये इंटरफेरॉन्स रिलीज होते हैं, और ये इंटरफेरॉन्स क्या करते हैं, इंटरफेरॉन्स बाकी सारे आजू बाजू के सेल्स को बताते हैं कि भाई आप already red flag दे दो, because there is some infection which has come inside our body and we have to deal with it. So therefore this will make sure that your important cells, which are called as the WBC, these are activated, and once the WBC will activate, they will completely protect our other cells from infection. So protection is one of the important features of the WBC, which is activated only when there is interferon released. And interferon कब रिलीज होता है, जब अपना सेल एक वायरस से इन्फेक्शन में जाता है. Yes, now the third type of barrier, which is called as the cellular factor. Okay, the third type of barrier, which is called as the cellular factor. Now, cellular factor. Now, what do you mean by this? Okay, cellular factor मतलब क्या कि there are certain types of cells जो हमारे इम्यून सिस्टम में काम करते हैं. Now these certain types of cells are what are called as the phagocytic cells. Yes, phagocytic cells. Now these phagocytic cells can be grouped into two. एक होता है माइक्रोफाज और एक होता है मैक्रोफाज. ठीक है, फैगोसिटिक सेल्स मतलब ऐसे सेल्स जो फैगोसाइटोसिस कर सकते हैं. अभी फैगोसाइटोसिस का मतलब क्या है, सिंपली अंडरस्टैंड दिस वर्ड फैगोसाइटोसिस. फैगोसाइटोसिस मतलब एनगल्फमेंट, कोई भी चीज़ को निगल जाना, कोई भी चीज़ को एनगल्फ कर देना. वो कोई भी चीज़ मतलब क्या, यहाँ पे एंटीजन है, यहाँ पे बैक्टीरिया हो सकता है, वायरस, जो भी होना है, वो एनगल्फ करना, उसको फैगोसाइटोस करना इज व्हाट इज कॉल्ड एज फैगोसाइटोसिस. जो दो इंपॉर्टेंट सेल्स करते हैं, वन इज कॉल्ड एज माइक्रोफाज, अदर इज कॉल्ड एज macrophage. Now when we talk about these cells, there is one more type of cell which are called as NK cells, which are called as natural killer cells. Okay, now natural killer cells are very very active in two instances. When there is a viral infection, अगर हमारे बॉडी में कोई वायरल इन्फेक्शन हुआ है तो NK cells will be active, and in case our body or anybody's body has tumor. दो जगहों पे ये काफ़ी ज़्यादा एक्टिवेटेड रहते हैं. ठीक है, अभी जो फोर्थ इंपॉर्टेंट टाइप का बैरियर है जो कि काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है, इज व्हाट इज कॉल्ड एज द फीवर. वेरी बेसिक. आज तक क्या लगता था, फीवर नहीं आना चाहिए, आप फीवर लेते immediately take crocin or you take any kind of a medicine which can reduce the fever. But in general sense, having fever up to a certain level, okay, it is not कि कोई भी लेवल पे जाए वो, बट एक सर्टन लेवल तक अगर आपको फीवर आता है तो दैट इज मेकिंग दैट इज आवर बॉडीज रिस्पॉन्स टू अ पर्टिकुलर एंटीजन विच हैज जस्ट एंटर्ड द बॉडी. सो हमारा बॉडी उसको रिएक्ट करने के लिए क्या करता है, तो फीवर. सो फीवर इज वन ऑफ द डिफेंस मैकेनिज्म्स गाइस. क्या है वो, एक टाइप का डिफेंस मैकेनिज्म है, ये समझो. यस, नाउ ये डिफेंस मैकेनिज्म क्या करेगा, इट विल हेल्प टू डिस्ट्रॉय द पैथोजेंस को डिस्ट्रॉय कर देगा. यस, सो देयरफॉर फीवर इज एसेंशियल. फीवर विल मेक श्योर दैट our body is dealing with that particular antigen which has just entered the body. It also helps in production of interferons. मैं INF लिख रहा हूँ, INF is interferon, and also it helps in recovery. Okay, it also helps in recovery from viral infections. I hope you're getting my point. So therefore fever has a very important application inside the human body. Yes, now at StudiLive, okay, we have three major packages by which you can excel your studies. There are three major aspects which our StudiLive platform offers. The very first is full course, which covers your entire IIT-JEE, which also covers NEET and Maharashtra CET, that is MHT-CET, at just rupees 10,000. There is also, if you just want to buy test series for all the three, that is IIT-JEE, NEET and CET, we also cater for that, and the test series cost is just 999 or 999 rupees. Also, if you have just one doubt in one chapter, or you have to understand just one chapter from say physics or chemistry or biology or mathematics, you can also buy our micro courses, which starts from rupees 99 only. So at StudiLive we have variety of things to cater for you and help you to study better. Now, after moving on to this, we have to also understand that we have understood different types of barriers. Yes, one of the barrier which is still important and which still needs understanding is what is called as acute phase proteins. Acute phase proteins, which are also abbreviated as APP. Yes. Now, what are acute phase proteins? Now, acute phase proteins ऐसे proteins होते हैं जब आपका बॉडी में मान लो इंजरी हो गया. इंजरी होने की वजह से there is increase in concentration of certain plasma proteins. ब्लड के अंदर, प्लाज्मा के अंदर कुछ प्रोटीन्स का कॉन्सेंट्रेशन बढ़ जाता है, एंड जो प्रोटीन्स का कॉन्सेंट्रेशन बढ़ता है उसको ही आप क्या बोलते हो? एक्यूट फेज प्रोटीन. बराबर. अभी एक्यूट फेज प्रोटीन के एग्जांपल्स काफ़ी ज़्यादा है, विच इज कॉल्ड एज वन इज कॉल्ड एज CRP. कोविड के टाइम वी ऑल्सो चेक फॉर CRP गाइज. ठीक है, तो CRP स्टैंड्स फॉर C reactive protein, which just lets us know that is our body undergoing a certain kind of infection. There is also another type of marker which is called as the mannose binding protein. Yes, mannose binding protein. You can also have alpha-1 acid glycoprotein. There are so etc. So there are multiple such markers which will ensure and which will let us know, yes, the body is undergoing certain kind of infection or certain kind of inflammations. So therefore they are very important marker. Yes. Now, up till now, whatever we have studied is covering all the aspects of innate immunity. हम लोगों ने इंट्रोडक्शन देख लिया, हम लोगों ने innate immunity होता क्या है वो भी देख लिया. In the next lecture, we will step on to the next part of the chapter, which is called as acquired immunity. If you like our efforts, if you have understood the concepts very well, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, which is StudiLive, and keep studying. All the very best, and see you in the next lecture.